Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host Tom Howe and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news contents that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we join Simon Verhage, founder of the Men's Mind Cave, to discuss the supportive online space he's created for men who may appear to be coping outwardly while feeling disconnected or under pressure inside. We check in with Chris Brown, founder of No More Lids, to talk about his award-winning plastic-free takeaway cup design and the mission to eliminate single-use plastic lids across the UK. As well as that, we take a trip to Luxulyan Amateur Dramatic Society to meet Robert and Catherine, who share details on the group's revival after 8 years and their upcoming pantomime, Willy Winky. We hear from Jane Johnson, co-chair of Cornwall Disability Alliance 2, who explains why the organisation is encouraging people with disabilities to take part in a survey to help shape a fairer Cornwall. And we welcome Roger Harding, founding director of Round Our Way, to analyse new analysis that shows the southwest is one of the areas most affected by recent flooding and to offer advice to those impacted.
NEWSWAVE.
First this week though, Simon Verhage, founder of the Men's Mind Cave, joined presenter Ross Lannon to discuss the supportive space he has created online through a group for men who may be showing that they're coping on the outside while feeling disconnected, stuck or under pressure on the inside. Drawing from his own life experiences and training in Reiki healing, clinical hypnotherapy and breathwork, Simon now helps men build practical inner tools to have honest conversations.
NEWSWAVE.
Joining us is a man called Simon Verhage. He is from the Men's Mind Cave, which is a supportive space for men online who may be showing that they're coping on the outside, whilst inside they're feeling disconnected, stuck or under pressure. Now, drawing from his own life experiences and training in Reiki healing, clinical hypnotherapy and breathwork, Simon now helps men build practical inner tools to have honest conversations, something really important that we love to champion on here on Chaos Radio as well. Simon, welcome to Chaos this morning.
Thank you very much, Ross, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Honestly, anything that is kind of supporting men's mental health and championing men kind of talking about their emotion is things we're more than happy to do here on Chaos. So it's great to have you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, men's mental health is really important, and it's a massive subject at the moment going around, and you can see it on social media as well, that there are lots of men out there at the moment that are currently struggling with how to actually cope. We're looking around and looking at social pressures and how we're supposed to be forming on the outside. But it's not about performance on the outside. It's really coming within ourselves and actually figuring out who we are on the inside.
Yeah.
Becoming that authentic person, becoming natural and just being able to enjoy life a lot better.
Absolutely. And sometimes we just need that gentle reminder, isn't it? It's like looking after your inner self. It's so important, and we're going to delve more into that throughout the interview. I've got to start at the beginning with you, Simon, because the name of it, the Men's Mind Cave. Firstly, I love it. Talk me through its kind of meaning and how the idea of it all came about.
The Men's Mind Cave, well, it just came about because I find it intriguing that men can actually be stuck in a cave now and then and be stuck on their own, that individual being there under pressure, not feeling right, and it's essentially we can gather thoughts in our mind and we just don't know what to do with those thoughts at all, and it's being able to express that and being able to share that with other people.
Yeah. And a lot of men as well, like there's often you hear references about like at home, men have like a man cave if they have a room or a shed that's like their sanctuary, or you hear of the cavemen references, but actually referencing the mind being a cave itself is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It came to me just one night. I was sat there and thinking, how can I actually form a group? What should I call it? And suddenly this name came up, and it's just evolved from there, really. And people love the name.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's great to have a name that can that sticks. That's for sure. You're very clear when it comes to your group that it's not therapy, it's not a crisis group. So tell us a little bit, who is this service for, and what kind of men tend to find their way to you?
Well, it's for men that I have really been struggling in life. And say, for example, if I look at me, what I've actually been through myself was going through relationship breakdowns and not having a connection with my own 2 children from Nottingham, and not having that connection there. And it's essentially for men who are wanting to find a purpose again in life and wanting to come back to feeling valued and actually feeling loved. And using the spiritual term, it's not to really make men freak out at all. It's to help men to reconnect with their inner strength, to actually build that confidence that they need to be able to get out into the world again.
Yeah, it's having that little bit of moral support, isn't it? Like you've said as well, it's so important just for that little bit of encouragement. It's making that first step to come, I guess, is you find is the hardest thing with a lot of men.
Well, absolutely. It's just making that first hurdle and being able to talk out and express their feelings with other men, essentially, and hence the reason for this group. I didn't know where to turn when I was going through depression myself and anxiety, until I actually started speaking out to somebody, and he was a counsellor. But this is free for men to actually come and join for their free first session, and to find out what it's about for them, to be able to just come into a community where we're supported without any judgment, and they don't have to be fearful from it.
That's absolutely so important. A lot of men are kind of just out and about. I use the word lightly here, but they're just kind of functioning. It's going to work, it's family, it's responsibilities and things like that. But then you often get that feeling of kind of disconnect inside. Why do you think this is such a common issue for men in today's society, Simon?
Well, there's so much pressure on us of how we're actually supposed to, or appearing on the outside, or how we're supposed to perform, like bringing home the money or going out to work. And there's work pressures as well. There's social pressures of what we're supposed to be looking like and supposed to be reacting with other people. But it's not necessarily about that. It's about, okay, the strength is really on the inside, and we've had that disconnection from our own spirit, so to speak. So it's really essentially bringing ourselves back to that.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds fantastic. We've still got lots more that I want to talk to you about it. I imagine you've made quite a lot of friends through this as well, Simon. Is the group how much has it grown over recent times?
It's grown a considerable amount. I've met a lot of people, and interesting people as well, that have been on exciting journeys and trying to figure out what's going on within their life. And yeah, it's growing at a steady pace.
Nice.
It's nice.
But yes, always room for more members. So if anybody out there listening today, of course, if you are struggling, please do reach out. This is one of the beauties, Simon, isn't it? That you provide your services online. So regardless of where anyone is in the world, you don't have to be based down here in Cornwall like us. It's all online. You can help people all over the world.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty about Zoom and the technology that we've got now. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, it makes life a lot easier, that's for sure. We've touched on it already a little bit briefly, but I just wanted to kind of delve into, we talk about men's mental health being so important, and there's still, in 2026, there's still so much stigma around men kind of opening up their emotions. Obviously, you're involved in this world and you meet so many more people than I do, Simon, but have you seen like a bit of a positive change over recent years, or do you think it's kind of getting worse?
There is a slow change, and a slow shift because more men are actually talking about it than before. And it is becoming a little bit better. It's not at the rate that it should be because there are so many suicides still happening and so many men that are feeling afraid to actually speak out. I mean, I know somebody at the moment that is going through struggles because of relationship breakdowns. And yeah, I'm helping him and supporting him at the moment. So yeah, people are too afraid to actually talk out and how they're actually being judged and viewed by other people.
Yeah. And on a kind of personal note, Simon, how do you've talked about your own struggles and things that you've been through, but how do you manage to keep your own spirits up? Because if you're supporting so many other guys, which is fantastic, I know I often feel it sometimes, like if you surround yourself often with, if there's lots of negativity around you, it can really affect you and bring you down. So what kind of tips or tricks do you do to kind of keep your spirits up?
Absolutely. And this is one of the things that I do teach other men as well when they're joining the circles here. It's because we're all energy beings, we can take on energy from anyone around us. And it's making sure that we keep ourselves cleansed as well. And simple things, even just like a cold shower so now and then, just to be able to wash away the negative energy, or just to be able to journal into a diary and being able to take ourselves back to our breath and focusing on our breath and regulating that. It all controls the nervous system that's running through us, and it's regulating that nervous system that makes us feel happy or sad or etc. And it's actually staying in tune with that. That's important.
Yeah, that's actually so true. I mean, I do not fancy a cold shower myself, but I know back in like years ago when I had some really heightened anxiety, and I used to find that the cold really, really helped me. And I used to sit for ages running my hands under the cold tap. And it's true, that kind of regulation, it really does make you kind of, it changes your thoughts, and it makes you kind of reset. So it is some great advice, really great advice.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's also about grounding as well. And yeah, if you can't handle the cold shower, even cold water over your face, splashing that, and bring yourself back to the present moment as well, because that's the only moment that we need to be in.
So if any men out there are listening today and they think, okay, this sounds really interesting, can you talk me through like an average session? So what, if I was to join you tomorrow, what would I typically expect from the online call?
So from the online session, I would take them through a bit of breath work just to be able to regulate them and being able to calm down. And then after that, we would be going through what they're actually experiencing. They'll be able to integrate with other men, find out from their experiences what has helped them in the past. And then I will figure out things from there of how I can actually assist and help them further if needs be. And just being able to regulate that nervous system and giving the men those tools to be able to cope better with life.
And you've touched on the breath work there a little bit already. Kind of other services that you are trained in. Tell me a little bit about this Reiki and hypnotherapy. Have you used much of that within your groups as well?
I haven't necessarily used it as such. There are other examples where I have used it. I have used Reiki on other people, and that's just be able to calm them down. But that's been in more in-person healing. And the hypnotherapy, that is a course that I've studied, but it's fantastic because it's given me so many tools and techniques to be able to assist men with emotional freedom technique, which is tapping and knowing about the energy centers within the body and where energy can be stuck so now and then within ourselves. And it's, if a man comes to me and says, oh, I've got constant issues with my throat, they may not be able to talk out properly or be able to speak about those feelings that's within them. And this is value for me to be able to assist them and help them further.
How often are you running these groups then? Because people, again, might be listening and think, right, is this like a weekly thing, a monthly thing, or daily even?
So this is every other Tuesday that I run these on Zoom at 7:30 p.m. Anyone can join. there's a subscription page on the website, which is themensmindcave.co.uk, and anyone can join, and you're more than welcome.
Amazing. And how this works then? So is it that you get your initial kind of your free introduction, and then it's different membership options, isn't there, where people can sign up for ongoing support?
Absolutely. Different membership options. There's a membership option for £9.99, and that's just joining the circles on a regular basis until they feel happy to go further on their own. There's another membership, a middle tier membership, where they're learning more about breathwork as well, and I bring them on some breathwork journeys to be able to release the trauma and fear or anxiety that they may have, and then one-to-one coaching that I also help and assist with.
Fantastic. Well, Simon, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. I want you just to give us a final plug, and this is like a direct message to any man out there that is listening who may be struggling. Why should they join a men's circle?
You're never alone. You're always supported by other people, and we're here to listen. We're not there to judge you at all. So yeah, please just come and join us. Come and join me at the Men's Mind Cave, and I'm more than happy to help and assist and help you on your way.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you so much. What is your kind of website plug, or how is the best way for people to contact you?
The best way is probably through the mensmindcave.co.uk. You can find me also on Facebook, which is Men's Mind Cave, not the Men's Mind Cave, but Men's Mind Cave. And you can find me on Instagram as well.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, to Chris Brown now, founder and managing director of No More Lids, who joined me to talk about his company's recent win at the Future of Food competition, how their patented plastic-free Good Cup is transforming the UK takeaway drinks industry, and the personal journey that inspired him to tackle the environmental impact of single-use cups and lids.
NEWSWAVE.
I'm still a little bit mind blown by it, actually, to be honest. Yeah, it was something that we wanted to be part of because it's all about diverse and innovative brands that are trying to change the face of what this country has done for so long. So yeah, we were in there with the likes of Bold Bean Co. and Seep and people like that. So I thought, oh, we're very small fry with this, but actually people really love what we do with the cup, and it was such an honour to win with such a high profile range of judges as well. Absolutely.
That is so exciting. Tell us then, what is it that makes the Good Cup so revolutionary?
So the Good Cup, basically, first of all, I mean, most people don't know this, but in your cup that looks like it's made of paper and looks very eco, it's actually got a plastic lining inside. That's what stops the cup from leaking. There's two variations of that, PE lining and PLA lining. Both are billed as, we can be recycled, we're compostable, and actually the reality is 2% of it is actually processed correctly. The rest of it ends up in landfill, and that's because people handle it like paper waste, and it's got plastic in, so they can't, so it contaminates the waste field. So what the Good Cup does is completely do away with that plastic element. So we have an aqueous coating on the inside, which is a water-soluble coating, makes the cup watertight, and the main thing is we have no separate lid. So all those nasty plastic lids that have all popped off in the car when you're driving to work and things like that, ours actually has an integrated folding lid, so no separate lids, just one item straight into the paper recycling or composting when you're done.
Why was getting rid of plastic lids and starting this sort of revolution so important to you?
So I've worked in the coffee industry ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, waiting tables and things like that, worked my way through the industry, and I was becoming more and more aware of, actually, now I'm a coffee wholesaler, I'm responsible for giving people these plastic-lined cups and lids. And then the absolute sort of final straw for me was walking the dog on the beach down on the Rain Peninsula, and he came back actually choking on a plastic liner that had washed up on the beach. And I was like, right, there has to be a different way. So I went on a long deep dive search on the internet and found a gentleman who just basically patented the cup design. No other plans for it whatsoever. It was just, that was it, the cup design at that stage. So yeah, just got in touch and said, listen, I really need to be involved in this. I need to make a difference. So yeah, and here I am. Yeah, there's an absolute appetite for it. And the consumer wants something better. The consumer wants to do better, but often they're not given the choice to do that. And now suddenly there is an option out there, and it's almost spreading virally. People are like, oh, did you know we can now do this? We can do better. And then people like the NHS Wales and stuff like that, it was actually through doing trade shows, accidentally sort sort of bumped into the right person, and that's what it all is ultimately, is finding the right people at the right time. So we pitched to them that we could actually change the face of their blood donation clinics, because that's all about sort of water and juice and things like that afterwards. Pitched the idea to them, and they're like, why aren't we doing this already? Why doesn't this exist? And that's just been the momentum that we've had. Everyone's just blown away and wants to be part of the evolution, we like to call it, rather than a revolution.
Let's talk numbers then. How much positive change has No More Lids made so far? Can we break it down into like the overall picture, but also day to day?
Yeah, so I mean, the overall picture, we've just topped the 20 tonnes of single-use plastic removed from the UK. Yeah, so that's about 4 million cups so far, which is from a standing start with a brand new product. Our forecast for next year, with what we've got in the pipeline, we should top about 50 tonnes of single-use plastic removed next year coming up alone. So yeah, massive impact.
I read somewhere that your goal is to replace every plastic cup and lid in the UK, and I have 2 questions. How close are we to making that happen, and what are the steps ahead?
So the steps ahead are twofold, really. We work with a lot of independents, and that is the bread and butter of the business, basically, because it's those independents that drive the change. The big players, certain brands, I won't mention them because I get in trouble, but they will, to an extent, they'll follow a trend in the market and then they'll claim it as their own. So that's kind of the process we're at the minute, is in that interim period. But we are in talks with, let's just say, several big brands at the moment that I can't really mention, but exciting things are coming.
Yes, very exciting. Any plans to go beyond cups and into other packaging?
Yeah, so we are looking at the whole of the food service side. So we already do a really durable paper straw that doesn't go soggy, even in a McDonald's milkshake. So we can say that because that is the ultimate test. We have a range of paper cutlery as well that uses the same technology, but our paper cutlery, you can actually eat a steak with it. It's that durable. It's not going to go soft and soggy. And yeah, we are looking at basically the whole of the food service side of it. So food boxes, things like that as well will come further down the line as well.
Amazing. Okay, given your experience then, I think you're probably ideally placed to answer this next question. What's the biggest myth about switching to sustainable packaging?
So the biggest myth at the minute is that people are switching. Basically, there's a lot of cups out there that say I'm compostable. Well, yes, it is, but it takes 120 years to compost. There's no regulation in this country at the minute that sort of states, okay, I'm under a year compostable, I'm 2 years compostable. You can just use that broad term. Like you can say I'm recyclable. Well, yes, you are, but you need to go off to a specialist factory, that kind of thing. So I think the regulation needs to change around it to be able to do that. But basically, as a result, we are the only genuine product out there in the market that can prove what we're saying. And so, yeah, it's all about that, sort of spreading that word, really. Yeah.
What would your piece of advice be then for the local independent who wants to make the change, but also to the big brands that perhaps need to make the change?
My advice would be think about your consumer. Think your consumer wants to do the right thing, but you as the business that are supplying that drink are the one that are in control of making that difference. So listen to your consumer. Ask your customers, do you want to be more sustainable? Would you like to see us improve? Get your customer's opinion, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how much actually that does affect where your customers shop and what they purchase from you. So ask them their opinion, and then you now have the way to actually move on that and do something about it.
Okay, now for the all-important question. Where can people find out more information about No More Lids, the Good Cup? How can they get involved?
So the best place obviously is go straight to our website, so nomorelids.com. Our Instagram channel is No More Lids UK. There's all sorts of stuff going on there on a daily basis. TikTok as well, we're No More Lids on TikTok. And we're going to start to do a lot more on there as well and ask you guys to come back to us with some content and things like that. So we've got a beer challenge coming up early next year where people are challenged to walk through a crowded room with an open pint and a pint in the Good Cup to see how much beer you've got left at the end of it. So that's something we're trying to roll with as well, because obviously with festival season coming up, it's a big thing. And the cup is naturally anti-spiking in that environment as well, and that's something we really, really want to promote. It's not just a cup for hot drinks, it's cold drinks, it's food service, it covers everything really.
And with any creative environment like art or journalism or sustainability, which is very creative because we're all looking at ways to improve the planet, to save it, to basically make such a difference. You must meet so many inspirational people along the way who are all sort of pushing you on to do what you're doing just to make such an incredible difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all about those collaborations, basically. I mean, we've got a very exciting project. In fact, you're the first people to know about this, so a bit of an exclusive for you. We've got a really exciting project coming up with a company called Learn Play Nexus. So they're an education-based business, and what they do is they supply educational toys and assets to schools, but it's all about sustainability, and the planet is the driving force. So we've actually created a planting kit. So the kids get to have a drink at lunchtime through their cup and straw and see it as a cup. And then in the afternoon, we actually provide soil and pebbles and seeds, and they plant seeds in the cup. They can watch the cup, watch the seed grow, and then they can actually plant that entire cup in their garden. The cup will compost, and they're actually seeing something that I drank out of at lunchtime. I can actually grow a plant from it, and they're learning about that sustainability and the circular economy. So that is a really, really important thing for us education-wise, definitely. To be honest, I mean, we're all about collaborations. We're all about the community. So if you are doing anything in your community that has a sustainable angle, or it's getting people together, and you might be serving teas and coffees in a plastic-lined cup and lid, well, contact us, because we'd love to send you some cups, because the more people we can get to use the cups, the better. But also, we'd love to help your event not have a plastic footprint. We'd like to help you be more sustainable. And we've worked with the likes of the Sea Life Trust. We've worked with a company called Man Matters, a charity called Man Matters. We've just done a local dog shelter in London, actually a dog shelter. So we provided all the cups and things like that for that event, which meant they weren't paying out for those, which meant more money goes towards the shelter. So anything we can help, please do reach out to us, because we're here for the community to drive this forward.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, you're listening to NEWSWAVE here on Chaos Radio with me, Tom Howe. Luxulyan Amateur Dramatic Society is back after an 8-year break, and they're gearing up for their first pantomime since relaunching. Cheryl Gordon caught up with Robert and Catherine to hear about the revival of the group, their upcoming show Willy Winky, and how the community can get involved.
NEWSWAVE.
Well, Luxulyan Amateur Dramatic Society first founded in 1989, when we had 5 members of our local community decide to get together and start an amateur dramatic society. It then ran until 2017 and was a huge part of the community, bringing people together, putting on plays and musicals, pantomimes. And like I said, sadly, it closed its curtains in 2017. So at the beginning of 2025, myself and 2 other individuals decided, let's give it another go and see if we can restart Lads. And here we are, about to put on our first pantomime. When it closed, everything went, really. The money, some stage curtains, costumes, makeup, everything. So when we decided to start this, we started with absolutely nothing. So we got here. We're ready. We had a rehearsal yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, and honestly, it was. I've been doing. I joined the initial Lads when I was 12 years old. So this was back in 1989, and now I'm kind of working with a couple of others to reinvigorate it. I said to the team yesterday that I have been at worse rehearsals the night before we're ready to go on. And we've got another couple of weeks, and I'm confident that everyone on stage is giving it their all, and I think we're going to put on a good show.
The singing's coming along as well. People can't sing, but they're giving it a good try, aren't they?
Yeah, certainly are.
I think the beauty about pantomime is that you can ad-lib a little bit, can't you? And because I've done pantomime myself a few years ago, and if you go wrong, actually you can make it really funny by somebody like forgetting their lines or...
Definitely.
Sometimes when it goes wrong, it's funnier. Our Dame is played by Chris McQuillan Wright, and he's actually our local vicar. So our local vicar is our Dame, and he is the absolute king of ad-libbing. We're never really quite sure what he's going to come out with. If, whoever comes to watch is certainly in for an interesting
He's
night.
very loud as well. You hear him outside, can you?
You can, yeah. He is.
Very loud.
So what's the story of Willy Winky, if I'm saying that correctly?
You are saying it correctly. So Willy Winky is the classic story of Willy Winky, obviously. But Willy Winky and his dad, Sir Richard, have got plenty of money in a gold mine. So the evil witch Drusilla decides she is going to come and take the Winkington's wealth. So the good fairy, who is played by 9-year-old Fern, who is absolutely
awesome.
She is amazing. She's worth coming to see on her own. She's 9 years old. She has learnt her lines months ago. She participates in a dance group in Truro. She sings, she dances. She's an amazing fairy, and she's a learner fairy. So the learner fairy takes on old witch Drusilla to defeat her to save the Winkingtons from losing their wealth. And that's a good overview without spoiling the plot.
So actually, saying that without giving away too many spoilers, do you have do you have a favourite part of the show?
Oh, that's a really tough one. Yeah, the community song is very good. I'm one half of the comedy duo. So myself and my friend Karen, we've known each other for must be just in excess of 30 years, and we now find ourselves back where we kind of started, playing comedy duo together. So for me personally, I am loving being back on the stage after an extended break and working with one of my good
friends. You're the best singer there, I think.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Rob.
It's true. I think you get down dirty as well, like this. You get going, didn't you?
Oh, thanks, Rob.
It's true, though.
Yeah, and I do. I love singing. I love singing.
I think you do a good job.
I think generally we're enjoying all of it. And I said to the cast yesterday, the important thing is now relax and enjoy it, because they've worked incredibly hard. We've been rehearsing 3 times a week since September, which is a lot. The cast have done so much. So what we'd really like now is people to come and support us with our first production.
Willy Winky. He's a bit of a character.
He's a character, yeah. Oh, Willy Winky. We've got quite a lot of young cast members, and for a lot of them, it's their first show, and they're brilliant, aren't they?
As you said, he had no idea what to do when he first started, did he?
Yeah, and they're great.
He sings, dances, and he says off stage as well. He says, silly things, and off he goes again.
Yeah, we're a great team. I think we've all pulled together really well.
Good fun.
For the cast members that are first timers on stage, how are they feeling ahead of the opening night?
Oh, that would be a good question to ask Rob.
I have no idea what to expect. I've done a few nativity plays in my time, but never on stage in that way. And I think I'm most probably going to get my lines and, it'd be all right. I played the bookie and the policeman. I'm going to stand there and most probably wee myself, I suspect. But I'm being honest, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously a lot of nerves, but then some nerves is a really good thing because it shows that you care. So there are some nerves, but there's also a good mix on stage. There are a few more experienced people that have done it for a few years, and we all support each other.
I think that the Tuesday out the way, and I think maybe
we'll be rolling.
I'll be going.
Yeah. They will be nervous, but they've got a lot of support. We've made a lot of new friends along the way. So I think there's also, there's nerves, but there's also excitement.
We enjoy it.
Please, can you remind us of dates and how people can buy the tickets, please?
Okay, well, our first show is on Tuesday, the 27th of January, and we will be opening at 7:15 p.m. We then do the Thursday evening, Friday evening, and Saturday evening. And then we have a matinee at 2:15 p.m. on the Saturday as well. So we've got 5 shows in total. Our Friday night actually is now sold out, which is absolutely fantastic. But we would like a lot more support on the other nights. Tickets are available.
We do very well that ship. It was 0 sales before Christmas, wasn't it?
Ticket sales are going really well, but obviously the more support, the better. And you can get your tickets from the Village Shop and Post Office in Luxulyan. You can either ring them or you can pop in there and just pick them up. Or we have a phone number, 01208 543 225, and speak to the lovely Bridget, who would be able to sort people out with tickets. They can be collected on the door and paid for via bank transfer. So it's all quite easy. And it's £7 for adults and £5 for children.
My final question I've got for you is, how can people in the community support you for future productions?
Well, it's a massive undertaking. There's so much more goes on than what you see on the stage. We obviously want a bigger cast for future years, and we would love anyone and everyone to come and join us.
Advertising's good.
Yeah.
We've got a small cast, really, haven't
we? We have got a small cast this time, but a very good one, I think.
I think we've done very well.
We're doing great with small numbers.
We've got a lot of youngsters who were just getting involved and having good fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So I think for future productions, you don't have to live in Luxulyan to join us.
I don't. I'm St Austell based.
Rob doesn't. He lives in St Austell, travels out to us, which is absolutely brilliant. So, we'd love people to join us on the stage, singing, dancing, but the work that goes on behind the scenes is phenomenal. So we need stage crew to move the props around, pulling the curtains, doing our makeup, hair, making costumes, helping us to set up, music, scenery painting, the list just goes on. I mean, the work that goes into it is phenomenal. So if anyone is listening and they have got skills they would like to bring along, we would love to see you. This is where we start, and we're hoping what we're creating is a society that future generations in Luxulyan and the surrounding area can join in and really have a group that is fun, brings people together for new friendships, and and puts on productions that the community can enjoy. So I hope we are creating something that will go on for many, many years to come.
Like it did before. Really a little family now.
Yeah, it does.
The little family. Got a few rims here and there, but
yeah,
that'd be perfect.
It's lovely. It's a really nice group. So we'd love to welcome anyone with any skills. And you don't have to be able to sing. You don't have to be able to dance.
I'll give it a go, but I need auto-tune, I think. That's what that is.
NEWSWAVE.
Now, Cornwall Disability Alliance wants to hear from people living with disabilities. They're asking people to take part in the Big Health, Disability and Inclusion Survey. This is a chance to share real experiences on multiple subjects in Cornwall to help make the Duchy fairer and more inclusive for everyone. Cheryl spoke to co-chair Jane Johnson to find out more.
NEWSWAVE.
Cornwall Disability Alliance is, or I should first say, we're a partnership of organisations for disabled people. So I can't remember at the minute, 8 or 9 of us. We've got organisations like Cornwall Mobility, Eyesight Cornwall, Bridges for Change, Active A, Mid-Cornwall Lifestyles, the Merlin Neurotherapy Centre, Cornwall Memory Cafe Network, Hearing Loss Cornwall, and ourselves. So we are all organisations for or run by disabled people. We all deliver services, support, advocacy throughout Cornwall, and our services are very complementary to each other as well. And with our ambition through the Disability Alliance is that we come together to collaborate and collectively address the needs of our communities, because together we're stronger, together we can join forces and we can bring a lot more strength and support around the whole needs of disabled people, and the disability movement in Cornwall as well.
You have launched a Big Health Disability Inclusion Survey. Can you talk us through the need and the importance for this project?
Yeah, we've been wanting to do this for some time, and thanks to funding from the National Lottery, we now have a dedicated advocacy and participation officer who's leading this programme of work for us. The survey is designed to really, we hope, be the biggest disability health and inclusion survey Cornwall's ever seen. We hope to gather the most voices, or hear from the most voices that we possibly can throughout county. It's all about decisions are made without disabled people that affect them every single day. We want to change that, so we want to hear about the needs of people so we can help use that information to shape and influence policy, services. We can use it for co-production. We can shape within our own organisations, but also externally too. But it just cuts across everything. It's about hearing people's real lived experiences, whether it's across health or housing or education, money, work, transport, community life. And it's all just to hear what is right, what is wrong, what's working, what doesn't, so we can use all that data to feed in where it's needed across all sectors to help make Cornwall a more inclusive place for everyone.
I guess sometimes that may be education for people that don't have an understanding of an individual person's disability. I guess that plays an important part into it.
It does, because I think predominantly there are a significant number of people with a hidden disability. And, it is talked about more now, but I don't think people really recognise to what degree. I mean, that could be HIV, it could be Crohn's disease, it could be mental health. There are so many conditions that are hidden and people are overlooked far too often. But that's why we've called this survey the Big Health, Inclusion and Disability Survey, because, it is the case that disability is often synonymous with a wheelchair user, for example. And a lot of people, as we found now, may live with a long-term health condition, but they don't consider themselves to have a disability. But we hope that this, the way we've pitched this survey, the way we've worded things, it will appeal appeal to a wider group of people. And to incentivise people to complete it, we're going to randomly select 10 people who've completed the survey when it's finished at the end of March, and they will each win £500.
Sounds like an encouraging way to get people in. And what experiences are you hoping that people will share with you?
Yeah, well, the survey is obviously, when you put a survey out, it is constructed in a certain way. There is a core survey, and then that covers all the areas that are touched on, whether health or housing or money or whatever that might look like. But then there's deep dive questions in each category, and we hope that people will answer some of those deep dive questions. But it depends what time and capacity people have got to complete the survey, of course, in doing that. But the more people do the deep dive questions, the more data we will have with that. So we hope more will take that opportunity to do it. But the good thing is the survey's been designed to save as you go through it. So even if you need a little break in the middle and you want to have a cup of tea and come back to it, you can do. The data's not lost.
How will this survey help to shape policy and services in the future here in Cornwall?
We intend to present this data. We intend to share it across our public sector services with relevance departments, say housing, Cornwall Council, health, with our health colleagues, to show them what are the barriers or what are the difficulties for people. We do a lot of co-production work in Cornwall as well. We're invited often to shape services. We often bring people together like a pan-impairment group of people. We do some great work, for example, through the Cornwall Disability Alliance. We have an accessibility advisory group that works with the Royal Cornwall Hospitals Trust. We've been working alongside them for a couple of years now, shaping the new developments as they're moving ahead up at the RCHT site at Trelisk as well. So we do a lot of this work anyway, but we can bring all of that information, all of that learning to bear in these situations, but we want to share it as broadly as possible too.
Can you remind us how people can take part? Is it accessible features, and when will the survey close?
Yeah, so we launched it on the 3rd of December because we wanted to launch it on International Day for Disabled People, but we're driving it from now. So it's open for a solid 3 months. It's open, I think, until the 2nd of April. There are 2 formats of the survey online. It has got accessibility features, and there is a main survey, and then there is an easy read version of the survey, so with picture symbols. So people, there are QR codes, there are links, and there are QR codes. So people can scan or click on the link that meets their access needs. And it's going out on, it's our all across online social networks across each of the platforms. We're getting posters out this week. The team are out putting posters out, getting postcards, libraries, GP surgeries. We're giving presentations to community groups. We invite people to contact us and invite us out and come and talk to them about it. There's lots of plans booked in already to be getting out to specific groups of people. We'll be doing a BSL interpreted presentation of the survey as well to ensure it can reach as many people as possible.
And finally, how can people find out more about Cornwall Disability Alliance and get involved and support you all year round?
We do have a socials page. We are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, and we do have a website, cornwalldisabilityalliance.co.uk, or they can contact any of our organisations that I just mentioned. Any one of our partners would talk to them about the Cornwall Disability Alliance. And I'd say as an alliance, we are a collective of organisations that work together, but there are so many opportunities for people to get involved and support any single one of our individual organisations as well.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, there's no getting away from it. Over the past month, Cornwall has faced lots of extreme weather. There have been winds of more than 100 miles an hour and heavy rain, which has caused flooding in many places. New analysis from Round Our Way shows that parts of the southwest are among the areas most affected by flooding. Now, to talk about these findings and give advice to people affected by flooding, Cheryl, who's been busy, hasn't she, spoke to the founding director of Round Our Way, Roger Harding.
NEWSWAVE.
So what our research has shown is that basically year on year, the average number of flood alerts we're getting for the Met Office is increasing. So 4 of the 5 worst years years we've had in recent decades have come in the last 5 years. And then when we dig down into where are those flood alerts and warnings coming from, they're concentrated in about 50 places, 50 local authority areas in England. And the southwest is among the most affected in there. So Cornwall is the 6th most affected, and all the Devon councils are also in there in the top 50. Part of the reason for that is being on the west coast. We know that the west coast of the UK gets significantly more rain than the east, but that's always been true. So the reason this is getting worse year on year is sadly due to climate change, and that's, as well as making our summers hotter, that's also leading to more wet weather as warmer skies can hold more water.
Communities in Dorset and Somerset often face floods again and again. What is it like for people who hardly have time to recover before the next one arrives?
It's devastating. I mean, we've spoken to a lot of people who've been really badly affected by flooding and who have something akin to PTSD as a result of those flooding instances, and that is triggered just when it starts to rain because of that fear of losing everything again and having to rebuild only shortly after having done that again. And that's devastating on a personal level, and it's also really devastating on a financial level. That is homes that need to be repaired, businesses that can often be destroyed, and places that then really struggle to get affordable insurance when they've become a place that's hit often year in, year out with flooding.
Flood alerts happen more often now than 10 years ago. What does that mean for people living in flood-prone areas of the southwest?
I mean, sadly, the flooding risk is only going to increase. The last decade that we've had is 10% wetter than in the 1960s, 70s and 80s. And so it therefore means it's really important for councils and for national government to start sorting out our flood defences a lot more so that people don't have to put up with this, particularly because the risk is going to increase. And then we've also, frankly, got to tackle climate change as well, because otherwise this will continue to get worse and worse. So it needs that sort of two-pronged approach of putting in place better flood defences to protect people right now, but also tackling the reason that is causing flooding to increase year on year.
Yeah, and it makes an awful lot of sense why it has that impact on, farmers, for example, trying to grow those crops and make a living and feed people. It must be increasingly hard for them.
It really is. And again, we've spoken to a lot of farmers who, again, have faced devastating periods particularly where floods are hitting around harvest time. You'll remember last year, a lot of the southwest was really badly hit by floods and intensive rain in August and September. And that means that's just the moment when farmers are pulling some really important crops out of the ground. And we've heard from a number of them devastated about pulling crops out that are rotten. Because during a period where it should be warm and everything is just doing any final ripening, instead it's a complete washout, and it just makes their life so much harder to predict, and means that you can have some really good boom years, but then you can have some really devastating years quite quickly afterwards in terms of the yield that people are getting from their farms.
Many southwest communities are on the front line of floods caused by the climate change. What urgent changes are needed to protect the region better?
I think ultimately to protect people's homes, to protect their businesses, we're going to need more flood protections, more flood defences to protect particularly flood-prone areas. Some of that will sort of be hard flood defences, like flood barriers, and in other cases that'll be more sort of nature-friendly examples of working with farmers who can be supported to flood parts of their farms instead of that water then flowing down into villages and towns. So we need those flood defences in place, but we also then need to tackle climate change. So we need to stop increased investment in polluting fossil fuels, and we do need to see much more investment in clean energy, including lots of clean energy produced in the southwest that produces excellent jobs, produces clean energy that means that we're not dependent on foreign powers for that energy. And if we get that right, that will also over the long term be cheaper as well as then stopping that flooding happening as much or getting even worse than it already is for lots of places.
Finally, what practical advice can you give to residents to help prepare their homes and communities for the next big flood?
There is lots of brilliant advice out there, not least from the government's Prepare website. So if you see one of these flood alerts or flood warnings for your area, take a look, because these things can happen really, really quickly, particularly those instances like we saw in the southwest last summer, autumn, where you suddenly get a month's worth of rain in 24 hours. Take a look at those tips. So, people who've been hit by flooding a lot will sadly know how that looks. But for those who've not been hit by it before and suddenly get one of those warnings, there are quick steps that you can take depending on your area to minimize the chances of water coming into your home, or making sure that if water does end up coming into your home, that a lot of your valuables are removed from the ground floor, to mean that it's not quite as devastating as it otherwise would be.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to Simon Verhage, founder of the Men's Mind Cave, Chris Brown, founder of No More Lids, Robert and Catherine at Luxulyan Amateur Dramatic Society, Roger Harding, founding director of Round Our Way, and Jane Johnson, co-chair at Cornwall Disability Alliance. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe. Thank you so much for listening. Whatever it is that you're doing in your community this week, be sure to add a little chaos.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.